This will be number 10 video in odds and ends hit and miss engine, and I wanted to show you the finished connecting rod from last week. We didn't have a chance to finish it, we ran out of time, but that's what it looks like finished, all buffed out. Today what we're going to make is the cylinder head, and you can see it all finished here, and I'll show you how I made it. So I'm making the head out of aluminum. You could actually use steel or you could use brass if you wanted to. But here's the aluminum. I'm going to put that in the chuck. And try to leave enough salt so I can mark it when I finish. And the first thing I'm going to do is drill the hole in for the spark plug. And then we're going to counterbore it to depth. I'll give you those dimensions in a minute. I'm going to drill through there with a 1/8 hole. I'm going in a little over an inch, which is more than the thickness of the head. So now I'm going to go in with a 13/64 drill, which is the tap drill for the quarter 32, which is the spark plug thread. So the next thing we got to do is bore out for the clearance for the spark plug, which is almost a 1/2 inch. And I measured this up before. Actually, it's 460 bore, and it goes in, boy, I didn't put the depth on here, did I? No. I'll measure the depth. So the depth of the bore is 575. So I'll put a boring bar in here and start boring. To make it easier, I think I'll drill that hole out, but not to depth. And it'll save a lot of boring. It's a 3/8 drill. I went in 400 thousandths for that drill. And just go in 400 because the hole is actually, they say 480 deep. My print, yeah. It's 460 deep. So that leaves me a 1/16 of an inch. For the 7/16 drill, about the same depth, 400 thousandths. Now I'm going to put the boring bar in there. So that's 460 deep. What I'm going to do is set the dial indicator up here. This is on the surface. And I'm going to go in 460, 3, 460 is right there. I'm going to set the stop. So that's almost it. That's 450, 55. We're going to take another 2.5 thousandths out of it. That should be 460. The dimension of this hole isn't really critical. What is critical is you can get your wrench in there to take the spark plug out. What I have is a turn down socket. I had to take some off the socket to get it in there, but see, that fits in there really nice now. And that's 460. So that's 460 in diameter, and the depth basically the same, 465. So it's pretty easy to remember that. It's almost the same in both directions. 460 wide and 465 deep. Okay, so now I'm going to mark it so I can saw it off. I'm going to do that with a parting tool. Okay, now I'm going to pull this out a little bit so I can get a mark on it to saw it off. I got to go 900 thousandths approximately, nothing fussy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully you got enough clearance here, yep. So I'm gonna just make a mark on that and then saw it off. Something down here, 1.5 inches. Okay, now we're going to face this off, and I'm going to leave a little protrusion there to fit into the cylinder to center it. It'll only be about 30 thousandths. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to move this in about 30 thousandths. I'll go in 20 first. I'm going to go in about 200 thousandths. Well, the object is to get that to just fit in this cylinder. 983. 983. So right now we've got considerably less than that. We've got to go in another 20. So I'm within 7 thousandths. So what I'm going to do now is come back and take the other 10, so I'm 30 thousandths thick. Set up the stop so that I can't go any deeper. Almost 10 thousandths to go. So I'm going to go in 4. See if that cylinder will fit on there yet. Oh boy, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. See, I can let go of it. It just sticks on there perfectly. So that's that. Now I'm going to thread the spark plug hole. A little threading oil on here. Lock the spindle. Oh, that's cutting good. A little more oil on that. It's almost through there, but so this is what you're looking for. Actually, this is the other cylinder head, but you should have a protrusion of the spark plug into the cylinder, not recessed into the head. So now what we're going to do is drill the holes in it, and I have the punch for the gasket. So all I'm going to do is put the punch onto this and drill the holes for the to mount the cylinder head, and they will be perfect for the gasket. I have this gasket thing. I've got the holes already laid out on it, so I'm going to use this to locate the holes. But you can do that with a divider, or you can do it with your DRO if you have one. Anyway, this is the digital reader was used for this, to make this, so this is perfect. And if you make a mistake on it, if you make the punch first, then the mistake won't matter, because you'll have the same mistake on the head and the same mistake on the cylinder, and everything will work. And if it's way off, you'll have to put the gasket on one way, but it'll still fit just right, even if there's a mistake. But this is perfect. What I'm going to do is go around and locate all these holes. That was on there good and tight, so I could locate all the holes. Now I'll take this and finish them. So I have to clear the drill often in this. If the drill clogged up, it would snap off in there, and that wouldn't be good. probably have to throw the head away or go through from the other side and knock it out. Now I'm going to put the flat on that's where you put the exhaust in the intake valve chamber bolt to. So now I have a reference with that flat. You can just take any two holes that are across from each other. So that's square in there. So what I'm going to try to do here is give you the depth, but it's not the depth that's important, it's the width of this. The width should be around 1/2 inch. If you went a little over, it would be no problem. If you go under, it's going to cut down the gasket area. So if over is okay, under is not okay. So you go for a 1/2 inch width. I'm going to measure that, see what width I've got. Oh, I got 430. Now, for some reason that looks like it's tapered a little bit, but that really won't matter. I can fix that though. So I just put a 1/1000 shim under here because I got a tiny bit of taper and I want to see if that's going to fix it. So I'm just going to run this through again and see what happens. That's at the same setting. Yeah, that's better. Just 2,000 shim just about fixed it. Okay. It's 400 thousandths. So now I'm going to come down 5 at a time because you get a lot more width than you do depth. That's almost it. I'm just going to come down another 3 thousandths. That's exactly 1/2 inch. After you do the flat, we're going to do the counterbore for the bolt heads. And I'm just going to use that flat to hold this in tight. And we have to line up on each one of those holes and go into depth with an end mill, because this is a lot larger than a standard counterbore. And I don't have a counterbore that size with that size guide. So there is a disadvantage to using that die punch to locate the holes. And the disadvantage is that you can't just go back with your digital readout and locate all those holes and do the counterbores. You have to line up on each one of them again. But I can do that quite quickly. Because this is basically for aesthetics. If this thing was a few thousandths off, it's not going to matter. But it's the wrench clearance that you have to have there to get the bolts in. You have to have this counterbore to get the bolts in. I'm going to lock everything up. Come down on that. Come down on that in 0. And then I'm going to go in a depth of what? 150 thousandths. Well, that's pretty good. Looks good. Okay, there's the counterbores. Basically, they're just to give it clearance so you can get the wrench on the nut. If you left the bolts sticking up here, you wouldn't have to do that. But when I put the louvers in, this has to be in here, because if you do the louvers first, you can't drill and counterbore properly. Well, the next step is to put in the cooling fins. And the way I do that, I'm using the flat down here as a reference. And this is a little bit narrower than that. This is 1.5, this is 1 3/8. So I've got something here that's a little more than 3/8 and it's compressible. So I can put that down in there. And this is still loose, I think. No, it isn't quite loose, but I can move this in and out. So what I've got to have sticking out is basically a little more than the depth of the counterbores, which I can see here. The cuts for the fins are about 5/1000ths less than the counterbore. And the reason I do that is so the bolt will hit flat against the counterbore. And if you could see in here, this is just 5/1000ths difference between the depth of the louver cut and the depth of the counterbore. So where these louvers are is not really important. I just put them there for looks. But like I said, it's 5/1000ths less depth than the counterbores. And the first one I put right across the two holes that are horizontal and try to get it centered on that. And I just do that by eye, and then I'll give you the dimensions of what I'm cranking it up to do the other two. So here's the cut. So I'm going to go in 145, 5/1000ths less than I did the cut. Doesn't matter how deep they are, as long as they're 5/1000ths less than you did the counterbores. That's it. So lock the table this way. Lock the down feed. Lock the cutting fluid on there. So I'm cutting this full depth. The second louver, I'm going to go up to 270. That's the width of the cutter plus 140, which is 270. So set that, go up 270. 1, 2, 70, right? There. Okay. That looks about right. Down 270 from the original, the first cut. And I'm going to make the third cut. So I put some juice on it. Now I'm going to try going down 270 again, which is 540, and see if that looks like it's centered on what's left. I'm taking that. Like I said, this is only aesthetics, so whatever you think is right is right. I think that's pretty much centered on those holes, but I'll let you know after I cut it. Looks pretty good. That's positive 540. Well, let's take it out and see what it looks like. I'm going to sand this off and so Jim can get a better picture of it.
slow.
If you measure these fins, they all come out to be just about exactly 150 wide. That's 148, this is 150, and this is 147. Because this one with the flat is different. This one is 120, but that's because of the flat. So they came out pretty good. So I cranked up, I did the first one going 270, 270, and then what was it, 540, 540? That worked out really good with a 1/8 inch cutter. But like I said, if it's off, it's a few thousand, it doesn't matter. You just want to keep them somewhere near the same width. Now we're going to do the hole for the intake and the exhaust in the side here, and that is a 17/64 hole. And the two little holes that are beside it, we won't do those now. I'll wait till I get the part that fits on there and line up from that. So we're just going to do that 17/64 hole.
Say it all over.
So the print says 365 high. That's what I'm going to try first and see how it looks. Make a mark there. And then I'm going to have a center line here. So what I'm going to do is line this up over here. Thusly. And the diameter is 1.5, so if I set this at 3/4, it should be the center line of that flat. So 750 is right there. Pretty hard to do that without it turning, but yeah, I think that probably the smart thing to do would be to measure over and just get sort of the center of that flat. It has to be pretty good. So to center this, I'm going to do it the same way I did with the other one. I put 2 drills in there, push it down flat on the vise, and now that's should be oriented pretty good. Now, the width of this is 500, so 250 should be the center. Yeah, that's pretty good. That second line that I drew is just about exactly right. I'm just going to double check that with my caliper. Make sure it's pretty well centered. Yep. So I should put that depth on here. So we're going to go 425 deep, 0.425 deep. Okay. I'm going to spot drill that and then go in there with an 1/8 inch hole first. So I'm only going to go 410 deep on this. I have to set the dial indicator here. That's going to be 0 right there. 1/16 bit. The same depth. I'm going to open it up to size with the next bit. Okay, let's see. Now, as you can see on that last engine, I just used a round gasket on both sides. It was in between the bolt holes. It's a lot easier to make. And that's going to fit on there just nicely. And I've got plenty of room on the sides for the gasket. So that should be perfect. So what I have on the print is 340 for the hole, for the next hole in height. So I'm just going to double check all that. It would be right here. And of course it's in the center. So what we're going to do is hold the flat against there. 750, which is 3/4 of an inch. That's that. What you have to watch out for when you drill this hole is you don't get into this. I did that on one and screwed it up. So that hole is pretty critical where you put it, and make sure that you have enough space on the side so you don't get into this 470 was that hole? I'm not sure, but just double check yourself. Okay. So I'm going to check this. That's the center of the hole, is right there. So if I put the bit on that hole, it doesn't even come close. It's probably 40 thousandths here. If you can see that I'm not going to have any trouble getting into that. So that's good. So I'm going to just drill this in until I hit to the next hole. I'll start out with a spotting drill, then in 1/8, and then I'll open it up to, what did I say, 13/64? Yeah, 13/64. This hole is actually a little bigger than the engine that's running, but I think I can go a little larger on that without any problem. So what I'm going to do is go up to 7/32 on that hole, which is only a 32nd, a 64th larger. So there it is finished. And if you were too far that way and you cut through this ridge, it really doesn't matter. This is the hole that it breathes for intake and exhaust, and I'm trying to make it as big as possible so that the thing breathes a little better than the original one that I did. And I've got both these holes a little bigger on the print than they were. So Jim will take and make a picture of that and put it on there, and if you can do a screenshot of it, it'll be there long enough so you set yourself up, you can do a screenshot of that print, and you'll have most of the dimensions that I had here. Well, that's the end of this video, number 10, on the cylinder head. And I want to thank you all for watching, and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you watched the video and like what you saw, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.